Hello, my name is Tamar Muskal. I'm a composer based in New York City. I'm super excited to share my music with you here on Impact series. Thank you so much, Tanya Leon and Composers Now, for inviting me. Just a little bit about myself. I was born in Israel and studied composition at the Jerusalem Academy for Music and Dance. Over there, I studied with Mark Kopitman. In '94, I moved to the US and continued my studies with Martin Bresnik and Jacob Drachman at Yale University, and then with Tanya Leon and David Del Tredici at the City University of New York. I chose to play a few excerpts from different pieces. Those who know my music know the different pieces of mine that has different styles, and that is because I like very much different kinds of music, and I feel quite comfortable writing in different styles. And for me, it's just interesting to try things, new things each time. So some of my music is tonal, some of it is more atonal, some more classical. Some is whatever we call here in New York downtown music, which is music that is influenced by rock. Some are more folklore-like, and so on. And add that to my background, which is in Israel, the Middle East, so that adds even more categories. The first excerpt that I'd like to play for you is from Argaman, which is a piano trio that was commissioned by Mina Smith and the Salt Bay Chamber Music Festival. Argaman is crimson in Hebrew. It is a very passionate piece, just the way I smell the color crimson. And it's one of these few pieces that I actually had the title before I composed the piece. Here is an excerpt from Argaman: Cheryl Staples, violin; Mina Smith, cello; and Benjamin Hoffman, piano. The next excerpt is a song from a song cycle called Of Love and Sobriety, to text by Stavit Always. This piece was commissioned by the ASCAP Foundation Charles Kingsford Fund, and it is for two vocalists, Joel Laurie and Tammy Schaefer, Jeff Ziegler cello, David Cousin marimba and drum set, Rob Schwimmer piano and continuum, and myself on viola. For this piece, it was really important for me to take musicians that are not only classical musicians, and perhaps some not classical musicians at all, but also musicians that are comfortable improvising and that can produce sound that comes from the rock music world. These musicians were really my dream team. They collaborated with Sting, Paul Simon, Laurie Anderson, and many more. Here is Just a Summer Fling.
Just a summer fling. Do 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 were you Spanish or French? I do not recall. You were perfectly foreign, gentle and tall. A simple case of supply and demand, those age-old conditions that go hand in hand. Savory and sweet on a no-name beach, cheap alcohol, buzzing birds, or were they flies? A simple case of supply and demand, those age-old conditions that go hand in hand. Now as the stringy days get shorter and morning touches noon, touches night, I sleep on summer memories.
The next excerpt is a duet from a piece called The Yellow Wind. It's a piece for two vocalists, an Israeli and Palestinian, Ney solo, narrator, and orchestra. This piece is about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and it combines a few excerpts from David Grossman's book, The Yellow Wind, and poems by some of the most significant Israeli poets, Natan Alterman, Shaul Chernichovsky, and Natan Yonatan, and the probably most significant Palestinian poet, Mahmoud Darwish. In this duet, I intertwined two poems together, one by Natan Yonatan, the other one by Darwish. It took a long time and a long search to find two contrasting poems that would work well together. The piece was commissioned by Paul Dunkel and the Westchester Philharmonic. The two vocalists are Keren Adar and Mira Awad, and the amazing nail soloist is Bassam Saba, who left us all really devastated when he recently passed away due to COVID complications. And the narrator, which you won't hear in this excerpt, is Brian Lehrer from WNYC. Unfortunately, there is no available video of the music, but you can see some photos from the rehearsals and the premiere while listening. So this is a duet from The Yellow Wind. The next excerpt is from Solar Flare, an orchestral piece that was commissioned by Peter Askim and the Adelwild Arts Academy. The Academy is an international boarding school with students from all over the world, focusing on very high level of academics and arts. Since they are young musicians, I wanted to write something that would be appropriate for their level of playing. So I decided to write something that is fairly easy to play, with some elements from rock music like steady beat, loud, not always, but occasionally. The excerpt that you're going to hear is from a later performance by the Jerusalem Symphony, conducted by Michel Tabachnik. You will hear a bit from the first section of the piece, which is very intense, going to the second section, which is very quiet and introvert. Another medium I love working with is music for film and theater. We only have time for one example, but there is something about the constraints and narratives of these mediums that make it very enjoyable for me to work with, and easy compared to modern music writing. The next excerpt is from Falling Leaves, an historic black and white silent film by the French Alice Guy Blaché, from 1912. Alice Guy Blaché is considered as the first woman director in the history of films. This work was commissioned by Limor Tomer and the New York Whitney Museum. It is scored for piano trio, Erin Keefe violin, Mina Smith cello, and Peja Musjevic piano. Last but not least, I'd like to talk to you about the piece that I'm working on now. It's a percussion concerto for the amazing percussionist Steve Schick, along with a visual interactive art by Daniel Rosin, who is my partner in work and life, and a chamber ensemble. This piece was commissioned by Non Barnatan and the La Jolla Music Festival, and will have its premiere hopefully this coming August, unless COVID has different plans for us. So a few words about the piece. There are two soloists. One is obviously the percussionist, and the other one is Danny's art called The Wooden Mirror. The mirror is a large wooden frame which contains 830 square pieces of wood. Each piece is connected to a motor, so that's 830 motors connected to a video camera and a computer. In very short, any person standing in front of the wooden mirror is instantly reflected on its surface. The motions of hundreds of motors makes a very soothing sound. You will see two videos Daniel and I took while experimenting with the mirror. After the video, you will hear a short excerpt from the Sibelius file. Please keep in mind that the orchestration is not done yet. This is a piece in progress. Lots of things are still missing, so please refer to it as a sketch, and don't forget that this is the computer that is playing, and these are not really instruments. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Tanya, and composers now. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you. מעניין אם אחר כך כשנשמע את זה, הם ישמעו את זה, לא בטוח.